Hi container gardeners. Today I wanted to show you guys something. It's a tote system I have set up. It's what I was really wanting to point out to you was my drain that I have on it. It's a siphon overflow, but it's also got a self-siphon portion of it, meaning when the water level gets high enough, it auto flushes kind of like a toilet would. So it's kind of like a siphon inside of a siphon, which is kind of weird, but let me just show you what I got going. So this is a siphon overflow. If there was no pump running, the water would settle to the bottom edge of the PVC pipe here. And you can see this part of the T is the siphon break. So this part of the T, if it's open, it makes it it's like breaking the siphon. But if you were to put your hand on top, well, then when it pulls the air through this joint from here, then it can flow more water because there's less air here, and the water goes up. It goes up. So it can flow quicker than it ever would traditionally with air in it. And you can see what I did. I've attached a hose to it. And this hose goes into the tote, and it's submerged under the water just a little bit. So here's the typical operating height of the water. This is pretty much if the pump was off, it would settle here. And over the course of the next 10 or 15 minutes, since the pump flows quicker than the drain can handle, this water is going to creep up till about right here, somewhere behind that bar, and then I'll show you guys the events that happen. While I'm waiting on that to fill up, this top tote, which is up here, it's about 75 gallons. Each bar on these is stereotypically 50 gallons. So this is about 75 right now. You can see down here, here's the pump. Here's the water coming in from the rotary drum filter into the K1 media bed from the pool. So the water goes through here, down through the K1. Some of it goes back to the pool, and some of it comes over here into here. And then here's the drain back, and it comes back to the pool. Which it's nice I got all this tied together, because now I have no mechanical filtration for the entire system. Because, no mechanical filtration from filter socks or floss or anything. It's all based on this mesh screen of stainless steel that's in the rotary drum. And then this drum has bio balls in it, and then this is how I drain water out of the system. It goes to a sink over here. But what I was pointing out was, here's the pump to the tote, and then that siphon overflow you saw, here's the return. And you can tell it's getting back up there. It's been about 5 minutes so far, I think, and it'll be a little bit longer, then I'll show you what happens. So you might ask, well, why can't a siphon overflow drain as quick as you need it to if the top is open? Well, because there's air here. Sometimes the air gets brought down the pipe by the water flow. So you got air bubbles going down with water flow, but they're actually trying to go up. because that's what air wants to do. The series, the longer the pipe is, the more resistive it is naturally. Every elbow adds some flow resistance. So what you'll see is that when the siphon starts, this hose up here is in the water. It's underwater. So the head pressure, because now this water is a couple inches above the natural resting state of this siphon overflow, the water tries to flow through here quicker and quicker, as it would anytime the water level is above the natural resting point of a drain. So when the water flows through this joint quicker and it can't pull fresh air from here, it pulls all this air in here through the joint and down. So what we're going to go see down below is that when the siphon is starting, you'll get just little air bubbles that make it down. But the more air bubbles that get pulled out of this joint, the quicker the water can flow. So the bubbles start as just BBs, and they end up as peas, and then they'll end up as grapes. Because the more the air gets pulled through, the more the water can flow. The more the water can flow, the more the air gets pulled through. And eventually, this part of the T and the hose going to the tank are totally water. There's no air left, and then the system will siphon. And it's getting pretty close. You can see that this is about ready. So let me just pause this, and I'll get back to you when it starts. So you can see there's just some very small bubbles coming out of the tip of that. But every time it brings a bubble, well, then more and more air gets purged out of the joint, and it'll start bringing more bubbles. So let me give you the bigger picture of what we're looking at. Here's the siphon overflows right at the top of this. And it probably takes a minute and a half or 2 minutes to purge all this, and I won't bore you guys with that. I'll get back here when it's a little closer. You can see we're starting to get some pea-sized bubbles out of this pipe. And the more the bubbles come out, the quicker the water can flow, and eventually it hits critical mass. You know, eventually so much water gets purged out of that T that it siphons. And when it siphons, all hell breaks loose in this tank. I'm just going to let you guys watch this because it's fun. This is the fun part. Here it goes. And it's really spraying all that air out. That was it. It purged all the air out of the line. And you can see how the velocity of that water that's coming out of that pipe now. Any fish get in the way and they get to go for a ride, but you can see how violently that's hitting that back wall. And let's take a look up top. You'll hear it when the siphon breaks, when the hose gets exposed. you hear that? You pulled air through that hose and then it all stops. You know, you could ask, why not just do a simple overflow like this? Just like this one. This is the backup in case the siphon fails for any reason. But the problem is there's no way to break the siphon with a system like this. Something going through a uniseal into the tank and down a bit. The water level will come up to the bottom edge of this, flow through, and it'll pull air bubbles through, it'll pull air bubbles through. Until it siphons all the water out, until the air bubbles get pulled on the inside of the tank from that screen. You know, and I guess that's not a bad idea either, but I like this one probably the most because that hose is adjustable. I got that zip tied in there. I can pull that up or down a little depending on if I want this water level to come down further before it breaks or not. It's super easy to do it this way. Kind of expensive, you know, doing something like that was probably 30 bucks. But it's a nice reliable drain. You can see the screen that I have on that. I don't know if you can see that. But the screen it's the same stuff as this stuff. It's like a vent covering or whatever they call it at the store. Keeps the fish from going through. The bigger pellets will not go through that, so that's always good. You can tell somebody's hungry. Look at these guys. Yeah, but thanks for tuning into this. I'm glad I could show you everything about what's going on with this. See ya. Thanks for checking in.